Welcome to Mel's Kitchen. Today we're going to make olive bread. I'm going to talk you through what I've got out on the table. So in the scale I've just weighed my flour and now I've weighed the water. So I've got 350 grams of hand hot water. You can take it quite hot, but you don't want to burn yourself with it. Notice I'm weighing it, I'm not measuring it in a jug. The reason why is because you'll get a more accurate measurement. So if it's 350 fluid ounces, sorry, 350 mil, then that will be 350 grams of water. So that's going to get poured into here. Now yesterday you should have made your starter dough. So here's mine. You can miss this step out completely. You don't have to add this, but it will give the bread a much better depth of flavour. So I'm just going to put that in there. Now this is cold because we made it with cold water yesterday, and it's just taken on some of the natural yeast in the air, and it's going to give a much better body. I'm breaking that up in the water, so now the hand hot water is now cooling quite quickly because of the cold dough. So that's going in here. And that's just being broken up into small pieces because we want this to blend with our main mix. In here I have got 500 grams of strong white bread flour. So for this recipe I always use white flour. You can use other flours and you can do a blend of them. You could use just the method, the way I put this together, if you're a fan of sourdoughs and you make your own sourdough. So you can change, but I think that this one's the most successful one. What's nice about this recipe as well is that you can make rolls out of it. So I might do that with this little strap of tins, which is particularly nice. These are Hovis ones. These are from my own family bakery, but if you look on eBay, you should be able to pick something like that up. So in there now we've got the warm water, we've got the cold starter dough, I've got the flour. Now the starter dough had salt in it to taste, so I tend not to put it into the flour because it will affect the yeast, and salt kills yeast. So you've got to be careful with your flavourings when you're at the flour stage.
What have you just put in?
I just added the yeast.
You didn't say that.
There we go. And then just mix it up. Get your hands in there, mix it up. You can use a mixer, but you know the joy of doing this is with your hands, and it doesn't need a huge amount of work. So get your hands in there. And when it's all come together, then you can put it on the table. I tend to keep a little bit of flour on the side there, just so I can work with that. And then you're going to start to knead. Get your hands in there, and you need to keep going with this now until you get an elastic dough, which you can see now it's quite soft. That's the kind of consistency you're looking for. And I'll show you a cheats method to this, which will get you through it a lot quicker. I've got one of these scrapers. Again, you can get on Amazon and you can order a scraper, and it will significantly make hand baking a lot quicker. And that's just to chop through the dough. This has the same effect of kneading for a long time. And you can see already the consistency of the dough, the gluten is starting to work, and it's being stretched, and the consistency of the dough is changing as it's becoming more elastic. Each chop is getting a little bit firmer to cut through it, and that is a lot quicker than spending a long time hand kneading. Now, the beauty of the cold dough, another reason for using it, this is already kick-starting the yeast. This dough is starting to fight back. That'll all be dependent on the heat in your kitchen. It's very warm in my kitchen right now. And you can see now that this dough is giving some resistance. Here we go. If you were making a tin loaf, you'd be wanting to shape it along those lines. I'm going to wash my hands. So I'm going to scale up half of my dough here, approximately half of my dough, because I want to make some rolls, some dinner rolls. So scale those up at 50 grams, just for a small loaf. Then I'm just going to let them rest up a little minute. And here's the magic with the olive bread. This is beautiful. Even people who don't like olives like this. Now, of course, you can chop in there all different kinds of things. Just stretch it out. This is particularly nice with some roasted garlic. Just put a little bit of balsamic vinegar with it. That's very, very tasty. Fern family favourite. Sun-dried tomatoes, obviously. A little bit of red pesto in there would be very nice. Go green with your pesto. All sorts of things. So I've just stretched the dough out. I've got just a cheap pot of olives. Tip those in. Now I've left a little bit of the brine in there because I quite like it with a little bit of the salty flavour in there. Because remember, we haven't salted the dough. So you can see approximately half of it covered in that, and then fold it over. Okay, I'm going to put that onto one side for a second. Just check these out. They're going to go in there. And they're going to rest. Okay, I've got a clean tea towel here, and they're just going to cover it because otherwise you will develop a skin on there. So back to our olive dough. You notice I put it on one side. I put it on one side because I just want the dough to relax a little bit. So then that means I can pull it out slightly. And I am going to put it straight onto a baking tray. So we need to prep the tray. So these have been greased with a little bit of vegetable oil. So I like this with some flour and poppy seeds, because you get, with every mouthful, you're going to get a little bit of the toasted crunch of the poppy seed. Pop on your olive bread. And then you're going to cut in there. And then you're going to open it up and spread it out. Okay, like that. Now this is already puffing up. This will not take long to prove. I'm not going to cover it. It won't need to. So it's warm in my kitchen. It was made with warm water. It's got the starter dough in it. So it's got everything in it that it needs now to move quite quickly. So this will be going into the oven. Put your oven on the hottest number you have, because with bread baking, that's what you need to have. And I'm just as well going to have a little cup of water. And then this is going to go into the oven, and then I'm going to throw in some water just to get some steam going as well. When I push the dough there, you can see already it's starting to spring back. That's what you're looking for. You want it to get to this stage where it's springing back on you, okay? So we're going in the oven. Like I said, this is going to come up quite quickly. I'm putting it at the top of the oven. And I've got my little bit of water. Close the oven door. And that's just going to bake now. And that will take around about 15 minutes. All dependent, I can't tell you exactly because it'll be dependent on your oven, okay? And we'll come back and we'll look at it when it's baked now. And I've got some olive oil ready. Here we go. Here is our bread. And the olive oil is just gonna go straight on. You can hear it sizzling on the tray as it lands on the tray. There you go. And there is your olive bread underneath. You can see there. You've got the poppy seeds embedded in, and it will be delicious. Enjoy.